Okay, so my setup for my automatic watering is just a cheap hose that I got from Home Depot, the cheapest one they had. And I just kind of like zip tied, or like in my case, pipe cleaner. I just like attached it in rows on the underneath side of each shelf so that it would water the shelf below. And you have to get like an end cap for the end of the hose, obviously. Otherwise it'll spray out water. And then there's these tips for irrigation, like for sprinklers, and these ones in particular are 180 degrees. They have 90-degree ones and such, and these are also adjustable. And then I sort of reran them and I decided to get the 90-degree ones, and the only ones they had were the non-adjustable ones. But I basically just poke a hole in the hose, and then those things are actually pointy on the end of it and they're threaded. So then I just thread the tips, the sprayer tips, into the little hole that I poked, and then seal them with some sort of watertight sealer. And those are adjustable, and so when everything is finished, you sort of have to turn it on, and then you're going to get soaked, believe me. You turn it on and then everything's going to be spraying everywhere, and you sort of have to like twist the sprayer nozzles. You sort of have to twist them to like angle them, because they're 90 degrees and they're 180 degrees, so they're going to be pointed not where you want them to be. So you have to adjust them, and then with these you adjust the pressure of how hard you want them to spray. And you have to do that once it's all set up. But then I have my hose ran over on the side of the house. So my hose is run, oh, there we go. And this is the timer that I got from Home Depot. It's okay, it's not the greatest. I wish it had a few more settings on it. I'm limited to the number of times that it can turn on a day, but it works fine for my fodder because of the location. It doesn't get very dried out because of the sun, so it's fine. The important part though is the splitter, and that's great because not only can I have my regular hoses connected here where I can still continue to use them, but you really need to get this adjusting part, because the hose has to be on all the time for the automatic watering to work, obviously. But this, I can control the actual pressure going into the hose because A, this hose is cheap, and B, because I just sort of threaded in those spraying tips. And so when you turn this on for the first time, you kind of have to play with the pressure, otherwise the hose is going to burst because there's not very much water coming out of those spraying tips. And if the pressure's too great, that cheap hose is going to burst. So that's about it though. It was probably 10 bucks for the hose, 20 bucks for the timer, 5 bucks for sprayer tips and zip ties. So works out pretty good for me, and I never have to worry about it. So there you go.